The source of happiness is finding what you love to do and doing that with all your heart and finding a way to more than make a living out of it, to have the kind of lifestyle that's going to fulfill you.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good afternoon, Andy W. Shepherd. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful day?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Angel. How are you?
I am as excellent as can be. It's such a great pleasure to connect with you. What part of the world are you in right now?
At the moment, I'm in Los Angeles, but originally from the UK.
Well, that's wonderful. The conversation before you is with a great friend from Los Angeles that I got to meet when we were there. We visited the Echo Park, which is like a really interesting location, and we met people that were on the podcast. Is that far from you?
Not far at all, just a couple of miles away.
Well, that's great. That's great. All right. So tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
Well, I'm a coach, so I work as a motivation team coach. And at the moment, I'm concentrating on something that I think is so important for everyone, confidence. So I believe that's what's connecting us.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Tell me, who did you learn that from, that ability to show up and be confident?
Well, it was out of necessity because as we're just talking this minute, I think I realized why I have a passion for being in front of a microphone and for being in front of a lens. I went to the local radio station and they recorded my voice. I mean, this was a real novelty because back in the day, I'm kind of a little older than most. And, we didn't have cell phones, smartphones. So to hear my own voice was something else. And so I needed confidence to be able to then stand in front of an audience, whether it be on the radio physically or TV or Facebook or whatever.
It is a powerful medium. I have had the experience as well where I am inviting past podcast guests back onto the podcast and listening to the voice of them then and then now. It's really remarkable. When confidence increases, it really helps you to be represented better. Have you seen that in your side of the woods as well?
Yeah, absolutely. As a coach, what I'm looking for most of the time is patterns. And so there are patterns in the voice, and I can hear my style of coaching. I like it when I'm just listening to the voice because I know there's other coaches, they want to see everything and they want to get into the body language, but it gives me an ability to just focus on. Sometimes you get an inflection and you can hear the insecurity. You can hear the blocks kicking in. And so, yeah, that's a very good observation, Angel.
Yeah, it's beautiful that you found that as well. Now, who in your family, if you had to put it to one or probably two persons, functioned on that level where they were active listeners?
Probably my father. Unfortunately, he passed away almost 2 years ago, and he was very, very good at listening. I love calling him. We talked for like an hour, and when I think back, most of the time he was listening, and he was such a good listener. He could talk as well. He could really, really talk, but later in his life, he was absolutely brilliant at listening.
I think it's even more challenging for that person to learn how to listen because it's like in your brain, it never switches off. You're always talking back, but you understand the power of listening for the other person's benefit, yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, one thing that was a big effect on my confidence was Tony Robbins, who I've studied every level with him. And I learned from him about the power of listening and how important. I'd heard it from other places, but it really struck home. And it's so important. Whenever I go and meet my wife from work and we walk home, and I make certain that the first conversation we have, I'm listening to her, I'm finding out how her day is. And I don't tell her my stuff. And this is golden to do this. So important.
Yeah. For those listening, where's the best place for them to connect with you, Andy?
Right. Well, a good place would be andythecoach.com. So you can connect with me there. Or another place, it's just so it's easy to remember, is I so love my life at gmail.com.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. Well, tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Consistently, I've been helping people with coaching and transforming people's lives. And you have a passion for what you're doing, and I'm loving what you're doing. I've listened to many of your podcasts, and this is just such important work. And I'm making my transformation in the world by helping people to remove their blocks. I'm helping people to find out how they want to manifest in the world and to remove their blocks and to gain their confidence and their passion to move forward.
How does it make you feel when you see that happen?
To me, it's a gift from God that I just feel that I'm guided, and I feel as if something flows through me, as if Spirit's guiding me. And it just feels incredible privilege to have that gift, to be able to, be the lightning conduit sometimes for the energy to help people transform. And there's nothing better. There's nothing better. No money could give me that feeling.
It's a beautiful metaphor, the lightning conduit. Transformation. Yeah, that's beautiful. Suggest to someone that's listening why they should do what you've done by finding that thing that is your own unique, real strength and really diving full into it by bringing service to others.
Absolutely. That's what it's about. I mean, the world makes us think that we should all look for materialistic things, and we're not going to be happy unless we've got tons of money and we've got the specific car or the specific house, the perfect family, etc. But the source of happiness is finding your passion, finding what you love to do and doing that with all your heart, and finding a way to more than make a living out of it, to have the kind of lifestyle that's going to fulfill you. That's where the true living is, and that's where it is that you can really truly feel great and fantastic. It's not about chasing money.
Amazing audience. Again, you're hearing it live from Andy Shepherd. You can connect with him at andythecoach.com. Andy, let's switch gears for a moment. Now, let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Andy, what's your earliest childhood memory?
The earliest childhood memory is actually me on a rocking chair. Unfortunately, a friend of the family put me on a chair and I'm rocking and I tipped forward and I hurt my head. That's my earliest memory. And then the next memory is when they're taking the stitches out, and I can remember there was this table and it got this big wheel on it, and I'm thinking, I want to go play with that. That looks like a yacht or something, a boat. And those are the two earliest memories.
So how old do you think you were in that memory?
1 or 2 or something. It was interesting because it was this joy that I was feeling as I was rocking on this rocking horse, and then the sudden pain and agony as I tipped forward. Oh, it's crazy.
So if we had to connect it though, like if you had to look for that metaphor in there, like that beautiful lightning conduit metaphor, right? Like what would you say is the connection to who you are today?
Well, the connection is that I've realized that it's not about me, and it's not about my skills and not about my talents. It's linking to a higher source. And this is what really, really makes the difference. When I heard Tony Robbins say, I'm here to serve, and that changed everything, I thought, yes, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to serve. And then, if we're doing everything out of selfish reasons, I studied a lot of Buddhism and I stayed many, many years in Buddhist centers and did a lot of meditation. And it's all about giving to others. And that doesn't mean you give everything. It doesn't mean that I'm going to give you my laptop, my cell phone and all this stuff. It's not about that. There's different levels of giving. And the true fulfillment is when you are helping others, when you are of service, and to connect to a source which is going to guide you to be able to do that. If I didn't have this ability to connect to source, I wouldn't coach. But I know that when I'm talking to somebody, I just know I'm guided to what I should say. And that is just incredible. Yeah, and I know it works because I get results. Thank you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. When I saw the imagery of what you just expressed with the rocking chair, I immediately saw that sometimes we are confident in the wrong environment. And if someone is there to direct you, to guide you, into what is the right environment, then your confidence, the same confidence you felt on the rocking horse, but the thing is, it's not one of the safest place, right, to launch from. Then you can walk in that confidence. Sometimes we make an error, right? And we think, okay, none of that. But definitely with a coach, Andy, like yourself, you can help someone get back up again onto that with the confidence that is required, right?
Absolutely. And it's about finding the right person, because there was a person who put me on the chair and I had confidence. I thought, oh, okay, I can trust you. And that person had no malintention. So there's a whole bunch of stuff just in that one image. It's about who can we trust, and sometimes people are human, and so we can still trust them. They just make an error, and you just need to let go of that.
Yeah. And sometimes we need to fall to get back up again, stronger as well, right? Ooh, it just keeps flowing, right?
It does. It does. I mean, you can transform anything. I think it's all about transformation. And it's like you can say, this is the worst thing that ever happened in my life, and I'm never going to go out of the house. I'm never going to try anything because there's dangerous stuff. Or you could say, this stuff happens, and it's like this person did it for the right intentions, and it doesn't matter. Just let it go. It doesn't matter. It's about transforming.
Love it.
Finding out how to transform stuff always. And that's what I do with the coaching clients. It's all about transformation.
If we fast forward to when you were 12, what were you listening then?
Yeah, this is embarrassing. The only thing I can remember was I listened to The Sweet and something called Ballroom Blitz. That was the hip thing to listen to in those days. If you're listening to The Sweet, then wow, you were somebody.
All right. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Andy, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
No.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
Or about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Mostly less.
If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Andy Shepherd, what would you say that is?
The person who serves and transforms people's lives.
Love it. Andy, this has been such a great pleasure. Before we leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Just that you are an amazing guy, Angel. I love your podcast. I love what you're doing. Keep rocking it. You're amazing.
I appreciate that. I love the sound effect of you just laying back in the chair there and the song that it made, the crackling sound. It was perfect. It was perfect. Andy, again, a pleasure, a treasure. Thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.